narrow, twisting mountain path connects the tiny village of Potawatomi in western India to the nearest town. But that didn't stop Cummins employees working to bring power to remote villages in India to help them develop additional sources of income. To get power to Potawatomi, they designed and built a Cummins generator that runs on oil from the seeds of indigenous trees. Then, they dismantled the heavy generator, as well as machinery to extract the oil and to mill rice, and helped villagers and a local charitable group carry everything to Potawatomi on foot. It's just one of the hundreds of community involvement projects undertaken by Cummins employees across the globe. In Wuxi, China, Cummins employees are working to clean up a polluted lake. In Costa Rica, Cummins employees are helping Earth University with its mission to teach sustainable agriculture. And in Minneapolis, Minnesota, Cummins engineers have modified toys and household devices to help adults and children with disabilities.
Cummins' reputation, which goes back decades, that it's a responsible citizen and committed to making communities better, truly differentiates us from most other companies. And as a result, we tend to attract people who believe that same or hold dear that core value. It's the reason I came. It's the reason I've stayed for almost 40 years.
If you think about corporate responsibility as merely philanthropy, as merely giving money, then I don't know that is something a company should engage in. Corporate responsibility is only effective as a company if we add something to it. If we add our skills, if we add our passion, if it furthers our strategic goals.
We're getting involved. They make it easy for us as employees by giving us the 4 hours to go into the community. And we just really get to make a difference where we live, and it's good for the business and it's good for us.
Cummins' commitment to corporate responsibility and community involvement goes back 90 years to the company's inception. Visionary chairman and CEO J. Irwin Miller was especially passionate, believing that a company is only as strong as the communities where it does business and where its employees live and work.
You say, why is Cummins in this at all? Why don't we just knock it off? Well, again, I think that what you call philanthropic activities is merely intelligent, long-range planning. If previous generations hadn't done a lot of personal work and spent money which their generation was never going to profit from, this wouldn't be a good community, and our other plant communities wouldn't be a good community. We have an obligation not to use up that asset, but to do as well in our time as every previous generation has in its time.
Today, the company's commitment to community involvement is flourishing around the world. The Clece Cummins Health Clinic in Guarulhos, Brazil, is celebrating its 20th year providing health services to the residents living around Cummins facilities. It's one of many community involvement initiatives undertaken by the company. Cummins Brazil has also established a community center, a variety of classroom initiatives, and, borrowing an idea from employees in Mexico, a sewing cooperative to help people develop job skills.
We have a big disparities. We live surrounded by a neighborhood that is poor, and for many of these people, they just don't have a chance to succeed in their lives. They don't have jobs, they don't have access to education many times, and I think Cummins is very proud to help them to find opportunities. These ladies that are here, it's the first time that they have a job, an activity, so they felt more productive, they felt more integrated to the society. And so this is great because around them there are other people depending on this, so we generate happiness, and they felt that they are succeeding.
Those receiving help from Cummins initiatives say the company's community involvement work provides hope for a brighter future.
Eu acho que deveria ter mais empresas igual a Cummins tem ajudando a comunidade, porque ajuda de uma maneira ótima, como as escolas, como os postos e agora aquele centro comunitário. Se mais empresas fizessem isso, ia ser muito ótimo. sem esse programa existir, não só para mim, né? Acho que para muitas famílias também seria ruim, porque não ia ter essa assistência que a gente tem. Então, se tivesse mais empresa fazendo isso que a Cummins faz, seria bem melhor.
Employees say they look forward to the opportunity to do community involvement activities. It makes their work experience at Cummins fun and rewarding.
When the company worries about the community, it means that they worry about people, they worry about you, they worry about others. I think it's important to help people, and I feel great that I work for a company that supports the community.
We really believe that the social work, the community work, is important for the company, for the citizen, and for the city. So if you live in a place that we have a very healthy, educated people, that's going to improve the business of the company, not only for Cummins, for the entire community that we have around the city.
To ensure the greatest impact possible, Cummins is encouraging leaders and employees to focus their community involvement work on 3 global priority areas: the environment, education, and social justice.
It's hard to imagine succeeding as a company when the communities around you are failing. And what I mean by failing is that education systems aren't succeeding, people don't want to live and work there, people can't make a reasonable living. Those are not communities that our employees want to live in. And so therefore, if we can't really have a healthy community where people want to live there, how are we going to attract and retain the best talent, which is what we need to compete in the world today?
So I see corporate responsibility as really twofold. It's first aligning with our vision and mission and our values of making our communities better. And second, it's about aligning with our strategic goals that we will do better as a company if our communities are healthier, if society is more just, if we have a better educated workforce.
Working through a network of more than 170 employee-led community involvement teams, Cummins has initiated many projects addressing these priority areas. In Wuxi, employees have been working to clean up Lake Taihu, one of the largest freshwater lakes in China. Since 2007, the lake has been plagued by major algae blooms fueled by pollution from nearby development. After a colourful ceremony that raised community awareness about the problem, employees have been helping to remove the algae and introducing a species of fish that experts believe will help clean the lake. In Johannesburg, South Africa, Cummins employees are supporting a school to help young residents in Soweto, a sprawling township plagued by poverty. The students prepare for careers in manufacturing, addressing a critical need in the country for diesel mechanics, electricians, welders, and other skilled labourers. Cummins was an early supporter of Itemba and its founder, Usain Peters.
Itemba is situated in the heart of Soweto. It's an area called Tladi. This is basically the middle of Soweto. It's also the poorest area of Soweto. These were the areas that were mostly affected, during the apartheid years. Cummins support has enabled us to develop a school from basically just a concept and a wild idea, to something that is changing the lives of people. We're actually changing the lives of people here at Itemba, and it's thanks to Cummins. I want to say that Cummins was the first company to commit to the project. You committed when it was still a bright idea, and today we've got the school out of that commitment. And we're very proud and grateful of our association with Cummins.
In Minneapolis, Minnesota, Cummins engineers work at the Courage Center, adapting toys and household devices for use by people with disabilities. Cummins employees in the United Kingdom developed a similar initiative at the Willoughby School near Stamford. The 2 projects regularly share what they've learned to improve the lives of the people they serve.
What Cummins engineers have allowed us to do by helping us to adapt more technologies than we would be able to just with our own staff has enabled us to serve more people and also to teach our therapists across the Courage system how to incorporate assistive technologies into the therapies they do every day with clients.
The common thread among Cummins' most successful community involvement projects? Strong leadership involvement.
Leadership involvement in corporate responsibility is the same as leadership involvement in anything that's really important to you as a company. If you don't have leaders involved, then it's often everyone off doing their own thing.
And when I say involvement, I mean personally involved and committed to corporate responsibility, being involved in the community, encouraging and in some kinds insisting that people get involved in their communities makes the program work. If a leader pays lip service to this, employees can see through that in a very short period of time. And we have very strong evidence where we've been most successful in corporate responsibility. The leader lived corporate responsibility.
Cummins Power Generation has been especially effective in community involvement through programs like Courage Center.
I think there's 3 or 4 key things leaders need to do in community involvement. The first is be visible participants. Not just cheer on, but actually get involved. And make sure you get involved in ways that people can see you being involved. Secondly, leaders need to be involved in making sure we're working on good projects. So how do you take your leadership skills and increase the quality of projects we're working on? Third, leaders should get to know who our community partners are. Make a personal effort to reach out and find out who they are and what they do and why we're working with them. And then finally, leaders need to give recognition. We need to recognize that our people are putting their hearts and their soul and their time into these efforts, and we need to say thank you.
As Cummins prepares to increase its presence in Africa, senior leaders there are including corporate responsibility and community involvement in their planning.
In our very first meeting, we spent a couple of hours just talking about what we're going to do as a leadership team to make sure that we're promoting corporate responsibility in Africa. And we think that we need to do that because if we can develop and build strong communities, then that's going to strengthen the markets that we participate in, and that's why we see it as so strategic.
Corporate responsibility and community involvement will play a critical role as Cummins begins an anticipated period of rapid growth.
I think corporate responsibility is going to play an even greater role in Cummins' future than it's played in the past. It may be hard to picture because it's so much a part of our history, but we're growing really rapidly, and we're expanding into communities around the world, and some of those communities really need our help developing.
We think about growth in many new markets, growth in Turkey, growth in Africa, growth in Latin America, growth in many countries in Asia. Many of the things we see as barriers to our growth are aligned with our priority areas.
What's different about working at Cummins? It's a sense that work is about more than producing engines or parts or power generation systems. It's also about building communities and a brighter future.
I work at Cummins in part, and in large part really, because we have this focus on corporate responsibility. It really matters to me that I can have a fulfilling life on multiple dimensions. I can work a lot and develop in my job. I can have a family life that's really important to me, and I can have an impact on the community, and I can feel like I'm part of that community.
Cummins is we're a lot more than just making money. Cummins is about how we can have a bigger impact in the lives of the people in the communities where we reside, and this is part of us living that value out.